freemmostation.com.
So, a while ago, we did do a top 10 sexy adult MMO games, but bear with us, this one is kind of different, sort of, different. As in, there's no real nudity involved in these games, unless you work your way around it, but that's not the point. While some go for a more realistic approach, others in this list are, they're a little bit over the top, exaggerated, and far from what a real beautiful woman is, of course, so take that into account. Anyway, games! So, if you like to contemplate the female characters in MMOs, then there are 12 of the best examples of the kind. Here, in no specific order, is the top 10 sexy female characters in free-to-play MMO games now. The work of renowned artist Hyung-tae Kim and one of the prettiest games around, Blade & Soul goes all impossibly long legs and large chests, and it just looks quite frankly amazing. The artistic value, undeniable, in the entire game, but it's the way that the female characters look and move that really grabs the most attention. The character creation system is one tool where players are going to lose quite a few hours, and it's even possible to recreate, say, male or female celebrities if you do possess a talent and perseverance for that. Regardless, Blade & Soul is one undeniably sexy game. Kingdom Under Fire 2, there are 3 current classes, and one of them is amazing. The Spell Sword somehow managed to catch the eye of a lot of male players. We're pretty sure it's a fact that they frequently showcased a costume, a very revealing outfit, that probably had something to do with it. Now, while there's no way to actually change the Spell Sword's body features, at least during the beta, we checked guys, we got your back. We do get a dozen or so costumes that range from pretty much the most revealing things ever to something a bit more discreet, but still sexy anyways. So, this is a character that's going to be able to please both crowds. Those who like to wear light clothing and then those who prefer a sexy but still fully dressed character. Terra is pretty much one of the most beautiful MMORPGs out there overall. From the environments to the bosses and the playable characters. The character creation isn't properly in depth, but it's definitely good enough to make a unique avatar. However, the characters shine through their armor, which is truly imaginative, and it really goes to both ends of the spectrum, full armor or scantily clad. So if you're not one to play as a female and you're adamant about it, this imagination extends to all races, from human males to the huge Baraka or the cute, nature-loving Papari. For what we've gathered so far, Bless won't bring anything particularly new or overly exciting to the MMORPG world. However, one thing that no one can deny is that it looks stunning. It's like Terra, but much, much better, with the detail for both environments and characters that really hasn't rarely been seen before in the genre. So now Wiz also likes to showcase the visuals in the game by pushing forward the female characters, exaggerating their sexiness, with things like an extremely provocative way of walking. Of course, it's not realistic. No, but the result is surely getting worldwide attention. In Vindictus, classes and characters are one and the same, so you only get to pick between male or female, you can't change that. Fiona, Evie, and Bella, and the latest female character, Lynn, are all slightly exaggerated but still fairly realistic in an unbelievable fit kind of way. You can, of course, change your physique by tinkering with the new sliders available, but what makes Vindictus characters look even more awesome is the clothing and armor, a great showcase of the artist's talent. Ion has a dreamy character creation system that allows you to make pretty much whatever or whoever avatar you want. From giants to lollies, you can think of someone and just create it. Even if Ion isn't any more the looker that it was a few years ago, it still at least looks the part, and it isn't aging too badly. The skilled character design coupled with amazing customization should be enough to make Ion worth at least a look, and it is a great game no matter what. Critica Online is an over-the-top hack-and-slash MMORPG with anime visuals and nearly a handful of female characters with very little in the way of protective clothing. The characters look nice, but they aren't exactly the most detailed in the world. And you won't get to take a good look at them anyway, since this is an action game that's faster than Devil May Cry. Enjoy those rare close-ups, since these are going to be the only occasions where you get to appreciate the cartoonish beauty of your character. The CryEngine 3's powered Icarus Online is still a Korean exclusive currently in beta. Think of it as a supercharged Dragon's Prophet where you can tame dragons and many other creatures and then use them as mounts. There's even a really cool aerial combat system, so the game not only looks good, it plays nicely too. Anyway. With the CryEngine 3, we get to create some pretty impressive characters, and the creation system is a great indication of the detail of this game. Soulworker is an upcoming action MMORPG that features a clean anime look and a clear liking for cute girls with short skirts. There is a whole crowd all over the world that doesn't resist to these visuals, and it won't be the panty shots that are going to contradict us. It's sexy in a kawaii way, a cute, mostly harmless way. The women don't possess exaggerated attributes, and it could be even considered good taste, especially if compared to the game that is coming right next in our top. Scarlet Blade. Yeah, it's kind of one of a kind. At least in the sense that you really have to possess a particular mindset to enjoy the game, let alone the almost exclusively female cast. This is exaggeration at its finest. A game that wants to be adult and yet seems to be aimed at the most puerile and youngest of players. It can still be considered a sexy game, of course, in a way that you'll definitely see a lot of virtual skin running and bouncing around, but this is really for more of those players that are anime fans and looking for the most risky part of their fandom. Scarlet Blade is sexy, but it's in the most frontal, this is what you get, love it or hate it kind of way. Since it was announced as Project NT, this sandbox MMORPG featured a beautiful leading lady dressed in blue and looking a lot like Alice in Wonderland. While we don't know if this is the default character or not, we do know one thing for sure. The game looks beautiful, and hopefully the user content tools will extend to the character creation. Anime fans will love to use it to create renditions of their favorite characters from TV shows and manga, I'm sure. Black Desert isn't just one of our most anticipated games, guys. It's also one of the most beautiful and sprawling MMORPGs that we have ever seen. The medieval fantasy world looks just amazing, and while the subject matter has been used a couple times before, many times before, it still manages to have a distinct personality here. The female characters, they're compelling in an extremely beautiful and for once tasteful manner. The sorceress, the tamer, and the female ranger are all mesmerizing, and that remains even when customizing them in a number of ways. This is an elegant, refined, and above all respectful representation of the beauty ideal, and it wouldn't be impossible to find real-life counterparts somewhere out there. That's it for now, guys. 12 games that in one way or another highlight the beauty of the female characters in free MMO games. Some are respectful and tasteful. Others are blatant over-sexualization aimed at teenagers who like to drool over their surreal virtual renditions of women. Anyways, when all that's said and done, most of these games are actually good, or at least shaping up to be in the case of upcoming games. Perhaps with the odd exception, so we recommend them anyways. Here are our two favorites. Black Desert for a more realistic approach, and Blade and Soul for an original art style. Thanks for watching! Let us know which ones you prefer.
Still not sick and tired of all the MOBAs yet? Good for you, because the developers of Heroes of Newerth has just announced another one, Strike.
This is another free-to-play MOBA, and the studio expects the two games to compete between